Hey guys, today we're going to start a new series of updated guides, of 5-minute guides for starter guides, beginner guides. So these are when you just log in the game and you've got no clue what's going on. This is the sort of video for you. So these are beginner starter guides. The old series I have are still very good and I recommend watching it, but after feedback they've been saying to make more smaller, much more quick and cheerful videos. So I will do this for the new updated guide. So, first thing covers up know your ship. Know your ship. The more you know about the ship, the better you'll be in that ship because you'll know its strengths and you can mitigate its weaknesses because you'll know each one. You know all the stuff. There's a couple ways to test, to actually see how your ship will perform and see what your ship is. You can take a look at a bunch of stuff. So let's go to press square to ship options. Go to press X, upgrades and loadout. And you can see the upgrades, okay? Now, when you first buy a ship or purchase a ship, this white progress bar won't be completely full. You'll maybe have the option to buy these two modules, and it tells you exactly what they do, which is nice. Tells you everything here, all very handy stuff, and you have these modules here, shall I say? And these modules basically, you'll have the option to improve most of the time a part of your ship as you progress through researching and upgrading the ship. If you take this module off, you see what it does. This thing adds to your reload time, which is bad, boosts your maximum damage, which is good, boosts your torpedo speed, which is good, but it makes them more detectable, which is bad. But overall, it should be a positive upgrade, and it's definitely worth putting in. Some ships have one upgrade, some ships have three. Just go for a ship I haven't fully researched yet. You see how the white progress bar isn't reached the next ship. How you unlock the next ship is you go for the next you finish that white part all the way up to the end, and then you can buy that ship. So if we show a wakeful here, I finished that bar and I can get the Acasta. The reason I have the tier 4 is because of an early access ship. That's a different story and that's not really relevant for our guide. So yeah, as I said, we'll go into ship options, go to upgrades and loadout, and you can see this here. Okay, if we go to get this module, it tells you more range, main battery firing range as well. So let's get that module. Great. Okay. Loadout. Loadout tells you the ammunition you have available to you and the consumables you have available to you. You can add any boosters that help improve the results you get, the money you earn, the experience you get from battles. Use them sparingly because you have a limited amount of these. Camouflage also helps with your concealment and your incoming fire dispersion. Different camos have different characteristics, as you can see. But let's go on to stats, more importantly. So stats covers survivability. This gives you detailed stats, of course, on your ship. So it tells you your maximum your number of hit points, gives you your artillery, it tells you if there's what your main battery turns like, what's the fire rate, what's the ammunition type, shell damage, fire setting chance for HE. You can look at maneuverability, tells you all this stuff, or you look at concealment. This is all great stuff, and for different ships, if you just back out and go to a higher tier ship, you can actually see there's a lot more going on. Because you can see some boats have torpedoes, some boats have armor piercing, some boats have high explosive. This boat has a smoke generator. You take a look at all this stuff there. So it tells you torpedoes, it tells you all about the torpedoes. Worth looking into every time you get a new boat, every time you want to play a new boat. Look into these stats. The more you learn from this, the more time you'll actually be living and surviving in that battle, and the more damage and the more fun you'll have. So it tells you can speed, and this tells you about detectability. If we go over again, you can take a look at the armor. Now, this is a very weakly armored boat, but you can take a look at some of the stuff like relevant armor schemes here. This is all the same because it's a destroyer, but if we go to a different boat, you can see the examples. So let's go to an Orion, for example. This is a big battleship. So you can see there's different armor schemes all around the ship, and it'll be useful for you to work all this stuff out when future videos will go into detail about all this. But in the meantime, it's worth noting that you can use this to help determine what the weaknesses of your ship is, what the strength is, and how you can use that. Finally, you can look at overview, and it tells you for that nation it has superior HE spend and it's slow. These are very unreliable. As much as I'd like to say they're a good thing, I would avoid using overview. It's very unreliable and just sometimes just plain wrong. So let's please avoid using overview for the future. The only thing overview is useful for is taking a look at the history of the ship, which is fun to see and interesting, but other than that, don't use these options there, speedy, HE pen, slow. It's not the case. It's just not true. Sometimes it is, but it's not always the case. So you got to be careful about that. You got to be really careful. Now, that's one way to find out. You can look through the stats of the ship and figure it all out. Another way to do it is simply by playing an AI game to figure out how the ship performs, how accurate it is. If it's very inaccurate, you could build into accuracy, maybe reduce that, maybe make it a bit more easier to play with. Or if it's going to be inaccurate, you need to get closer ranges. You just get yourself an AI and get a feel for the ship. It's better to do it in AI than to do in standard, where you'll be fighting real players and it's a lot more dangerous. So definitely play the ship in AI just to test it. There's nothing wrong with playing ship in AI. As well, different ships of different nations have similar traits. Like the British have short fuse AP and quarter pen on their HE. We'll go more into this later, of course. The Japanese battleships benefit from long range. The Americans have increased penetration angles and heavy AP. The Germans are brawlers. They've got turtleback armor schemes. The French are fast and quick. The Russians are very strong on the very well armored, unless you get broadside. You know, stuff like that. There's national traits. You'll figure these out as you play through the ships, and the more you know, and the more you research it. As I was saying, the time spent looking at these things in port can increase your ship's survivability in a battle immensely. This is a massive thing, and a lot of people, even who have tier 7 ships, the highest tier, or even legendary ships, a lot of people don't know about this thing. So this is well worth looking into and well worth looking at. So yeah, I hope this helps, and bye for now. I'll catch you next time.